So, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to finally have the debate about whether the Cosworth has done 16,000 or 116,000.
Or 216,000.
Or 360,000.
Or it's been around the clock.
Yeah, it's been to the moon and back.
So I'm going to pass you over to our mate Richard, and he's going to start us off. Richard, over to you, mate.
So, just going off what we've been finding, which you've been seeing, taking bits off the car. When we first bought this car, we thought it's done 116k, right? Just presume that's what it's done. It's an old Ford Sierra, why would it have done 16k? So, started obviously digging about and doing a bit of research about this car, and like you can do, and we've done, is a number plate check for tax and MOT. So you can see when it was last taxed and MOT'd. So I did an MOT check and it come up, it was last MOT'd in 2012, which the guy we bought it off, he had that done. It didn't do, I think it done like a mile or something like that.
It hadn't done
hardly anything.
very much. It hardly done anything. I think it done a little bit more than a mile, but
Probably
it
2 or 3
weren't.
miles.
Yeah, I think it was like 10 miles.
Yeah, it had an
think
oil
he-
leak anyway, and I think he just decided, I think he took it to the MOT station, got it MOT, it passed, drove it home, had an oil leak, and he got...
Right, yeah, and he's like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
just leave it. I don't need to mess with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with it. It's just going to sit there anyway.
Yeah, so he just left it in his garage and whatever. So, when we got the car, which was in 2019?
I think it's coming up to 3 years now.
Yeah.
We've had the car.
Yeah, so we'll go on a gloss over a bit how we got the car. So, I was on holiday. Dave was obviously in the UK, and obviously WhatsApp, we're all in a WhatsApp group, and we was all commenting. And I looked on Facebook that day, and I seen this Cosy up for sale. Looked at it, then obviously went round the pool, had a few beers. Then Dave puts in the chat, this Cosy's pretty cheap, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can't say I've been looking at that. And I said, I'm going to message him. Obviously,
Wow.
that
He didn't even tell me he was messaging her.
No.
I put it in and goes, pretty cheap this is. And you goes, oh, I saw this earlier.
Yeah.
And then I think a few hours later, Rich put in the group chat, I've been speaking to the lad's girlfriend, Dave. Do you want to go off? And
It kind of
I kind of just went,
hoping Dave would say no.
yeah.
And but he said yes.
Yeah, I went, yeah, all right then. Then he was like, okay then, you can go and view it if you want. And at the time, I was on my way back from Manchester after picking a different car up, nothing exciting. And literally, I rushed back, dropped the car off, got some money, and rushed up to where it was Mansfield. I had to go to Mansfield, yeah.
So he went up there, went up in the truck.
Went up in the truck,
He
yeah.
went up in the truck. Literally had a look round it, done the deal, got it off this guy, bought it back, and Dave was going, yeah, all it needs is a good clean. I was like, okay.
Geezer told me as well at the time I wouldn't find any rot.
Yeah, you saying it's solid. So obviously Dave's there on the phone to me going, mate, mint, just needs it clean, needs a bit of polish.
I wasn't saying mint, I was like, well, what I didn't want to do was buy an absolute nail that needs loads of work. He was on holiday, I was there trying to speak to this bloke. This bloke was just kept telling me, clean this is, solid, clean, solid, you won't find a cleaner one, solid. I was probably there about 2 hours with the geezers, looking around, trying to find anything.
And did he let you start it? 'Cause you saying,
Oh yeah, he let me start it, but he was honest about the oil leak. We started it, I heard it running, and then he turned it on and he
he was
said,
saying because the cam out.
yes, he said the cam back hasn't been changed, and he said, and there's an oil leak coming from the back of the engine, which I wouldn't suggest that
Run it
you
too
run
hard.
it too much, which fair play to him, you know.
And obviously, I was away on holiday for a good week or so. And I spoke to Jake, who obviously, you know, you've seen him in the videos. And I said, "What's it like, mate?" He goes, "Oh yeah, it's all there." I was thinking, "Oh God, here we go." Because I don't know why he weren't going. Yeah, mate, it's mint, just needs a polish. It's all there, mate. Yeah, it's all there. Anyway,
Keep checking out. I told you it got different colour panels and that.
Yeah.
And I just to be honest, it was mint considering how long it sat and that sort of stuff. Mate, it's mint.
Yeah.
If you go on like if you go on eBay all them sorts
compared,
of, and compared to some of them,
yeah.
they are rock boxes.
Yeah.
Like you literally look over it. You don't even have to search for it.
That's probably what he meant by you wouldn't find a cleaner one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
I think he meant clean as in rust free.
type thing.
So anyway, so that's how we come across the car. Literally, Dave got it back. We cleaned it off, I think.
Yeah.
Ordered like a cam belt kit, service kit. So I did that. First thing we're going to do is chuck a cam belt on, because what I don't want to do is run it and the cam belt snaps. So whacked a cam belt on it, and obviously the tow bar was fitted. I thought you can't have a Cosy with a tow bar, so the first thing we did was unbolt that one.
Yeah.
And then it just got kind of pushed to one side.
Just kind of forgot about it, didn't we?
Yeah, it's one that we bought it. We knew you can't really lose out on it.
Well, it was literally, we brought it just as simply because we knew it was cheap.
Yeah.
We always, like, both of us have always wanted one.
And it was going to be an ongoing, long kind
and
of
we
thing.
just kind of said, can we buy it? Like, we both said, listen, the money we put into this, can we do it? We don't want to be, the other one don't want to be a couple of months down the line, I could do that money out of that car. We just basically agreed just to put it to the side until we've got time to
get
our hands on it
account kind of thing.
and restore it to its former glory, give it a good overhaul and whatnot.
Do you want to say how much you paid for it?
I think it was up for 10, weren't it?
Up for
It was
10.
up for 10. Before I even got there, we'd got him down to, I think, 9.5. And I got there and I was like, look, mate, I think we paid 8.8 for it in the end.
So it was about it was roughly 8.8, which in 2019, for the condition of that car without any MOT and stuff, was half decent money really.
It was cheap.
But I did a bit of calculations. I said, look, Dave, even if the shell's completely rotten, it's going to snap in half. All the running gear,
we'd get the money.
running gear, kind of thing, and bits and bobs on the car. We broke it up, so.
Like a few weeks later, because I got excited over this one, I'd found a 4 before one.
Yeah.
All it was
No engine.
I think it had no engine, but it had all the running gear, had the shell, the ID, the paperwork, everything. And I think I was trying to do a deal with the kid for that, including shipping. I think we were talking 5, 6 for that, and I think it had no engine, and might not have even had any interior. I think it was kind of like a bit of a rolling shell with doors and a boot.
Yeah. But obviously then we'd have to try and source an engine.
Yeah, but I just got excited and then
anyway, that faded out.
Yeah, it fell through, the kid let us down.
So anyway, that's how we got the car, that's what we paid for it in, and obviously then it got left for 2 years, and then we thought, right, let's get into this, and we thought, what we'll do, we'll record it all. Like I said, we've done bits and bobs on cars before. We're not by any means like professional mechanics or anything. We all three of us love cars, into cars, and we're just eager to get through it, learn it, and if we get stuck on something, we're going to get past it and like you guys can help us out and things. So by no means we're professionals, so don't go off what we say kind of thing. But
definitely. Some of the things you see definitely do not copy.
Yeah. So if it turns out alright, at least you kind of know that's one way of doing it. But anyway, so what then got us thinking with the mileage is, like you say, if you do a reg check on the vehicle, it was last MOT'd in 2012. Anything previous, because how it works on the digital database in the MOT, anything after 2005 went online. So anything before that is like the old paperwork bit.
No man's land, really.
Yeah. So, and then that was saying then it hadn't had an MOT technically before 2005. Is that right in saying?
Yeah.
If the digital bit went.
I think so. Yeah.
We've got no paperwork for this car. Absolutely nothing. So obviously it'd been MOT in 2012. So then, what I stumbled across then was you can put in to see when it was last taxed, and it was last taxed in 1995.
6.
Well, it ran out in 96, didn't it?
Ran out in 96, so it was taxed in 95. It could have been taxed for halfway through the year, or it's been taxed for 12 months, or it's been taxed for 6 months halfway through 95. So it was last ever on the road in 96, which says to me, right, okay, even if you had it MOT'd every year, he hasn't actually physically taxed it, and obviously to drive something you need to tax it. So yeah, it's been off the road since 95, so that got me thinking then.
96.
6, sorry. That got me thinking then. I did a bit of calculations and I worked out if it had done 116,000 miles, you'd have to do from 1988.
It was like 17,500 a
20,
year.
20,
No, it was like 17
do
and
a
a
quick
half.
calculation.
It's 17,500.
So I've got the logbook at home. I can get a picture and post it up. The build date for this car when it was registered was November 1988. So it's the end of 1988, coming into obviously 90.
So yeah, 14 and a half.
Yeah, 14 and a half. So from say the end of 1988, so the start of 90, you've got then 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. You've got 7, I have to count with my fingers. If I don't, I'll get it wrong. You've got 7 years, right? So over 7 years, is that what you worked it out?
Well, I did 88 to 1996. So
Okay.
it would be 8 years, but it depends when it was first registered.
Yeah.
So it would have to have done, from the word go,
At least 40 and a half.
at least 40,500 a year. So if it did less one year, it'd have to do more the next, or it did more one year, it did obviously less the next. So that seemed to me, back in the 80s, 90s, quite
A lot more.
A lot
People
more.
didn't do them
Yeah,
short
yeah.
miles.
So then I was thinking, right, okay, if it'd done 16k and it'd been on the road from the same period of time, I think it works out to, if you want to just do that quick, was
If it
it
was 16, it's like 2,000 or something.
Yeah,
2,000.
3,000 miles
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
which isn't ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like 100 miles a year or something daft
Yeah.
like that. So then I was thinking, well, pretty good that is. Anyway, we hadn't even touched and looked into the car then, and we left it, and obviously now we've started it, we started pulling bits off. So it's like we've got the rear number plate, which we're going to put, when I go through this, we're going to put literally pictures of what we've got to show you, to explain everything. So the rear number plate, we've got obviously the original rear number plate, which was in the boot. There's a new plate to put on the car, because obviously it's had a front end shunt, as you can see from what we've been showing you. So the front number plate has obviously been lost or damaged or whatever in the accident or whatever. So we've got the genuine number plate from where it was bought from, new. So then we've got the shock absorbers front and back with the Motorcraft stickers on, and there's even a paper on the rear, a paper sticker, which obviously that
So
sits
both got them, one's hanging off a little bit,
bit,
and the other one's
yeah. Anyway, we'll
still
put
on, isn't
pictures
it?
up. But where that sits in the arch, if you know Sierras, is open to the elements, and it just seems strange that if it had done 116,000, that would have come off. Do you know what I mean? A bit of wet weather and that, it would have eventually get worn off. Then we've got bushes. When we took all the bushes out, I'll put a few pictures of what we've got left of the bushes. They were all Ford. Everything was Ford. Nothing was like an aftermarket part or anything. Pedals. Obviously, we're going to show a picture of the pedals. We'll see what wears on that. Interior. It hasn't got holes in it. There's a bit of wear, which you're probably seeing now. But at the end of the day, it don't look like 16k. But sometimes interior can break down over the years. So. It's done 116k. It's 116k.
Cars are built better now, and you'll have driver's seat bolster damage after a couple of years, after
or like I said,
a few thousand miles.
Sag,
do you know what I mean?
It can sag. Or like I said, it could have done 116k, and that's genuine wear from that mileage. You know what I mean? So then we've got obviously the tow bar, which is a strange thing to have on a Sierra Cosworth. So I've got you'll see pictures obviously the tow bar. We've got all that.
I think that does make more sense for a higher mileage, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah, because you could go over to France towing a caravan or all across the country. Do you know what I mean?
People go to France towing caravans in the 80s.
But I'll tell
It just
you what.
it seems like it probably
If you turned up with a Sierra Cosworth with a caravan, you was top
dog.
Top dog. You know what I mean?
You should have left it attached to the bloody.
Or he was racing, did a bit of caravan racing. Do you know what I mean?
Racing.
Yeah.
Looks like it though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so tow bar, bit strange, and it also had on it the hitch up for the caravan. It was for a caravan because it had the 2 plugs. So the one does obviously the back lights, and I think the other one does like the 12 volt, the fridge and stuff, keeps all that on. So it was a bit of a spectrum option to have. So it must have been for a caravan, and all the wiring was left in. So we stripped all that out when we took the tow bar out. So Yeah, then the clutch, which we'll show you pictures, Motorcraft clutch. So if you'd done 116k, towing a caravan, you would have thought that would have worn out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you weren't really gonna.
Unless it then got serviced and replaced with it.
Oh yeah, unless somebody who had a few quid and they were like, right, I want to keep everything genuine.
Yeah, genuine.
And then they brought genuine Ford parts.
People did with these sort of cars, because it ain't just a Bargo 1.6 what you nip down to your local Alfords and get some oil and oil filter for or whatever. You probably want to go to Ford, so it's all got the genuine stuff because it's the top of the range car. So oil filter is Motorcraft, which would go with if it was serviced at Ford and had all obviously the clutch and stuff. The other thing was, obviously, we noticed when we took the fuel pump off and everything, the fuel filter as well was Motorcraft, so which would go with if it was serviced by Ford. The fuel pump, I couldn't see anything on it. You guys might know and go, actually, no, that's an original Ford pump, or it could have been changed, because obviously this car did get sat for a long time, and fuel pumps normally, they break up and the fuel goes funny in them, and they normally get knackered, so they need replacing to get the car started again after they've sat so long. So we haven't changed that. It ran when we got it, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
So front brakes, Ford, it's got the stamp on it. Rear brakes, a Ford, got the stamp on it. Starter motor is a Motorcraft starter motor. So at the end of the day, I know stuff was made pretty good in them days. So
What's it?
well, I don't know. I mean, I've had cars with 200k and they've probably still got the original starter motor on. It all depends how stuff's made.
Yeah. And start motors are one of the first things to go.
They normally are. But at the end of the day, if he was starting it up in the morning to travel miles and miles down the motorway, then he's starting it upwards, isn't it? Where little short trip to the shop, it burned your starter motor out. Water pump, which obviously I took off when I did the cam out, which I've still got the old water pump, was Motorcraft.
You think as well, the spark plugs,
yes,
change them.
I'm going to try and find them. I've kept them, but you know when you put something somewhere safe. So anyway, spark plugs is one of them. I can't really prove it at the minute because I don't know where I've put them, but I'll try and find them out, and if I posted them up, I've found them. So yeah, and turbo, we've got the code, which I've got a picture of, and I'm sure it's the original turbo. We'll post a picture up of what it was stamped in on the turbo, and you all can say, no, that's a genuine Ford turbo for that year of car. So yeah, other thing obviously as well, the exhaust, the front section, apart from obviously the back box, is all original Ford, even though it was rotted out and it had been patched up, but that's good going for a 216k car. To have the original exhaust on. Everyone knows they're just made out, like they're not stainless steel or anything. They will rot out just sitting there, do you know what I mean? Just from age they will physically rot out. So that's another good bonus. Like I say, it was no good anyway, but normally they get changed up for a stainless item or an aftermarket item. A bit like the back box, I think it was Timex or something like that. That must have been what they made of copies back in the day. It's had some kind of bit of a blowover. You probably can't really pick it up in the pictures, but we'll try and pick it up. But you can see around like the door seals and stuff, it's kind of peeled off a bit. And obviously from when we took the front wings off, they weren't genuine front wings. So we think, well, it has. It's had some kind of shunt in the front because it bent all the front slam bar and everything like that. It's damaged, the wings obviously been damaged, so they've replaced them, or there's some other reason why they changed both the wings. So they must have blown it over at the same time. That's the only thing we can think of, and obviously it's shown its age now. The roof is obviously rusty, which is a common fault on them. So the channels on the roof drains block, so they don't let the water out. The water then sits there, and obviously then it rusts from the inside.
But the other thing is as well, we think, well, it's had the rear windscreen changed.
We think
the front windscreen as
yes,
well.
At some point it's definitely,
the front one was changed.
Yeah.
I think the rear one was changed. The reason behind this is when they change windscreens, they use that cheese wire to cut them out, and obviously that scrapes against the paint, knocks the paint off. If they don't really like prep it and reseal it, moisture can get in, and then that's what looks like it's happened on the rear top of the rear screen, doesn't it? Because it literally bubbled at where the screen fits in. It's just literally bubbled all the way along the back. So yeah, but that can do, like people have said, oh, it ain't done 16k because of the rust. I'm not being funny.
It's
You buy
nothing.
a car from new, stick it out the rain for 35 years.
You can't
It'll
tell
rust.
the age of a car by rust.
No.
It purely down to what sort of elements it's left in
How you kept it, how you
and stuff like that. Unless you could put it under a cover, you could leave it in a container, you could dry store it in a container and it will sweat and rot and it could have 0 miles on the car.
Yeah.
It's all dependent, like Dave said, how it's been kept.
Yeah, and what elements it's obviously to do.
The other positive, I know we're repairing rust and stuff now, what's obviously set in on the car, but nowhere on the car where we could find it's actually physically been welded, so it's never had any previous welding work on the car, which shows it was not out
Well,
of
the
the
other
rain.
thing as well, obviously the wings, when we've taken the wings off and the front end off, a lot of the rust seems to be from a bad repair job, not from, not from just
Which
rusty
has
over
obviously
time.
led us to a front end shunt at some point.
Well, definitely because
And-
they have not genuine wings on it.
Yeah.
so-
At least one as well, because obviously you've seen already, one
One
wing
was
different
one
to
mate.
the other.
Yeah, one wing was one mate. At the end of the day, they could have bought the wings and they've been 2 separate mates because that's all they could get hold of. But like we said on the last video, how they did the job, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a bit more rust on the one side, so it looked like the passenger side was done before the driver's
It
side.
definitely looks like it's either been done by
And
2 different people
or
or
different
2 different times.
times,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that.
But going back to the 95.
No,
96
being taken off the road.
If you work, so 96, you work, let me count before I ain't got enough fingers to count.
Yeah, go on.
Am I right in saying, is it 25 years?
Yeah, 25 years.
25 years that car hasn't been on the road. I mean, I'm 35 now, so in 96, I was in year 5 at primary school. So that's when that car was last on the road. So on the logbook, I mean, I've researched this, it says on the logbook, first registered, and we think, we'll put it up now, we think Ford might have registered it.
Yeah, we think Ford registered it
As an owner, so
as
one
one.
owner.
Then somebody else owned it. Then he sold it to who we brought it off, and now obviously
Yeah, 'cause I
it's
think
in.
we're
It's in.
the fourth.
We're the 4th owner, so I think it's in Richard's name. And then in typical Cosworth fashion, I was informed when I brought it that it might, good chance, have been stolen at some point.
Well, there's some telltales.
Yeah.
You explain, because obviously.
Well, yeah, when
David
I was
said-
there, the geezer was obviously like, I think it's been nicked, and then he showed me on the driver's lock door that there's a hole next to the lock where obviously someone's boshed it in and opened it that way.
And obviously, one other potential sign is obviously the key doesn't work in.
No, actually, I went down earlier. It does work.
Oh, it works
I
now.
forgot to say-
Richard was just poking me all wrong.
Obviously, I think they've done the lock, popped into it, but that
It's
key.
damaged it somehow.
Yeah.
Or it's been worn.
No, I think just because it hasn't been used.
Yeah.
But they've popped the lock out and then they've twisted it, which
Yeah.
opened the door. But what makes it weird, that key, I know it's not a genuine Ford key, it works the ignition, but it works all the door locks. So if it had been stolen,
Someone's changed the lock.
The whole locks.
Yeah.
Normally you get different. If they're
Yes,
snapped
yes.
and
You have
captured,
one
get
key to
different-
get in and one key to start.
Because they'd normally smash the ignition valve out.
Yeah.
But we're only going off what we've been told.
Yeah.
It could have been just broken into and someone left a purse on the passenger seat.
Yeah,
You don't know.
But the highly the likely of that happening. Everybody knows. You know, people used to walk in the shop, come out, and they were gone.
There's no immobilised.
Yeah, people used to get followed. You know.
Yeah.
There's the whole big story about it.
The other thing is the side skirts.
Yeah, the side skirts were missing.
But the side skirts, this is what's weird about it, because at the end of the day they could have been removed. But on these Sierras, they have little rivets which are colour coded to the car, and they're all still on. So whoever took the side skirts off have physically ripped them off.
pulled them clean off, and the steering wheel.
Yes.
It wasn't a genuine. It wasn't a Cosworth steering wheel, was it? We've had to get that.
It was just we'll put a picture up of the steering wheel. So
potentially because the bumper is the different colour, but that could be down to the bump that it definitely
it just
had.
don't make sense.
So yeah.
It got sprayed. The wings got sprayed, and the rest of the car won't spray the front bumper.
This is what I mean. So yeah,
it's a bit weird. The car is more or less completely standard. We haven't found anything aftermarket. The only thing we found aftermarket is the rocker cover's got a breather in. Yeah. And the other thing what I was going to say with the mileage, going back to that, is the car phone. It looks like it's had a car phone screwed in. So if you've done 16k and you've only took them into the shops, why do you need?
Yeah, you wouldn't have a car phone, so
unless you was the dogs, like
when
around on your phone.
Unless you were the gaffer, weren't it, or something, you don't know.
Because we tried to look, didn't we, whether it was an optional extra, and they
Yeah,
just
from
come
Ford.
from Ford with
Let us
car
know.
phone.
Are they an optional extra from Ford?
I've found some pictures with car phones in, but they could have been
Yeah,
the other one.
it literally looks like a car phone just gets 4 screws.
That's the other thing I was going to say, is the tow bar. Yeah. Is that an option from Ford? The tow bar we've got, we'll put pictures up. Is that a Ford option, or normally it's a tow bar company, isn't it? But how it mounted was, obviously, I know they're good at mounting them, but it looked as if it was fresh out of the factory from kind of Ford.
Does that matter?
So
yeah, aerial missing?
No, there isn't one missing. There's an aerial. Well, it is missing the second part of the aerial, but
you think it's for the car phone?
Cut for the car phone. It's on the back of the roof. So, and that looks.
You don't reckon it could have been an ex-police car, do you?
No. Because apparently all ex-police cars were motorsport shells which have no sunroofs. So you can tell if it was an ex-police car because it doesn't have a sunroof. So that's what I've been told anyway. People might comment.
But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting because I know a few people have commented anyway. Some people thinking, yeah, it has done 16,000. Some saying, yeah, it's definitely done 116,000. So we did want to address the for and against basically of what we've seen close up, because there's some things that you wouldn't have seen that we've seen, and some bits of information about it. The previous owner saying it's stolen, and you know, we've seen it's been in an accident, things like that. So if you've got any, you know, ideas, or you think, you know, well, we want to see what you lot think really, whether it has potentially done.
Because we haven't got any information about this car.
We literally,
as far as we know, we may never find out whether or not it's done.
Up to now, we've literally got the story that I was told by the previous owner, that he might have been told by the previous owner, or
we don't know.
or whatnot.
The other thing what I will say is, when we bought this car, the advert listing said it had done 116k.
Yeah.
So
he did say 116k.
I think what has kind of brought us back around is because of when it was last taxed.
And there's so many genuine
parts.
And obviously, of course, we brought a Cosworth, and who doesn't want it to be a little gem of 16,000?
That'd be lovely. Do you know what I mean?
You know, it would be silly not to hope that he's done a 16,000.
But there's a positive on that. If it had done 116,000, it's still technically, he's only ever been on the road for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
and
it's done its high mileage in its first kind of years.
And
you know what I mean? So
from all the parts on it, it was well looked after. It was really well looked after.
I think it's just had in its short 7 years on the road, it's had a bit of
a rough life.
I
don't think.
To be honest with you, it's only Cosworths that were born and put straight away didn't have a hard life.
No, if you was buying that sort of car, you was buying it for one reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You were going to give it. That's what I mean. All Cosworths get an hard life.
Any top of the range fast car.
Everybody, you know, it come out and they were like,
right. Weren't petrol cheaper back then?
Yeah, so it was just money to burn. People had money to burn.
No speed cameras.
Yeah, money to burn. Car cruises were in its height of its day.
And obviously car crime. So
car crime.
It's quite easy. Screwdriver
Joyriding was like a Friday, Saturday night activity.
Nick a car.
Nick a car. Do some doughies, do some burnouts, and dump it.
And the pubs used to shut at 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
So when the pub was shut, you go through and
joyride.
So look, we do want to hear from you if you.
Yeah.
If you think it's done 16k, put in the comments.
If you don't, put it in the comments. If you've got any information about the car, you know anybody who knows the car, let us know.
If you
that'd be great. That would.
This car, literally, I've tried everything.
Hello?
Hiya, is that Nigel?
It is.
It's alright, it's Rich here from Car Town. Apparently we've got your old Sierra Cosworth.
Yeah.
It's alright, we just wanted to have a little chat with you, obviously, and just go over from, obviously when we got the car, we bought it from
a lad in Mansfield.
Alright.
So we got it off a lad in Mansfield, and we bought it about 2 years ago now, and obviously it's just been sat in our unit until we come to do anything on it, and obviously we didn't get any history with it, with the car, and obviously we were told a bit of a story behind it, that it may have been stolen in the past. And when did you say you bought the car then?
Well, I've actually got the receipt I got for the car in front of me now.
Yeah.
Got it. Date of agreement is 2nd of the 12th, 1991.
Right, so you had it more or less, because obviously it was late 88, I think, the car. I've got on the logbook, it was November 88, I think, when it was registered.
Yeah.
So you had it more or less not from new, but it's only
3-year-old.
3 years old, yeah. So did you have it from a dealer then, or did you buy it private?
Well, I worked at a garage.
Yeah.
I worked at Grazer Gilstead in Surrey, and
I've actually still got the tax list for it. I dug it out earlier.
And I did a mechanicing for a RS Cosworth 4x4 rally car.
Right, okay.
And the bloke that drove it was a car dealer.
Right.
And I bought it off him.
Right. So that's how you come to it then.
Yeah.
So obviously, how long did you own it for then?
I owned it until what? 2012, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you get it MOT'd in 2012 then? Because there's one MOT history, and that was in 2012. So that must have been the guy who you sold it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I got an MOT on it.
Well, to be fair, when we bought it, obviously the last MOT was in 2012, and the mileage had only gone up by a couple of miles,
about
if that.
7 miles.
About 7 miles. So I don't know if it had been clocked back or he MOT'd it and didn't use it. I don't know. But it had no advisories on the MOT, I don't think.
I've got an MOT certificate in front of me.
Yeah.
For it. From January 95.
Yeah.
And the mileage was 7844.
7844.
Yeah.
So that's what it was in 95. So when you got it then, it had quite a few miles on it then.
Yeah. Let me look, see if I've got a real correct mileage on. See, I've got a copy of loan agreement I took out with him.
Yeah.
To pay for it. There's no mileage on any of this other stuff.
Because obviously when we bought the car, we just presumed it's done 116,000, you know what I mean? It's an old Ford.
It has.
And
it has.
yeah, and obviously then when we come to start taking it apart, we've noticing genuine parts fitted to the car, and we're thinking, well, that's decent, that's good. And then obviously, when we checked, obviously the last time it was ever taxed, it was in 95. So then we did a bit of calculation. We thought, well, it's either done in its first few years, very high, like not very high mileage, but it has done high mileage, or it has done 16,000 miles. But I'm glad you've got in contact with us, because obviously this has cleared it all up. We weren't bothered either way, but it kind of just adds.
It was a shock when I saw the registration plate.
I bet it was, because like I said, it hasn't been on the road since 95, because obviously that's when it was last taxed.
That's when it got nicked.
So that's when it got stolen then, as more or less every Cosworth did. So what was the story behind that then? What happened there?
I was between jobs.
Yeah.
Mechanicking. Stock on toolbox on boot, on back seat.
Yeah.
Parked up. No ECU in it.
Yeah.
Took ECU out every night.
Yeah.
Car disappeared. Towed it away.
So you reckon they towed it then? They've towed it away?
They've got to have towed it. There were no ECU in it.
Yeah. Because this is the other thing. There's obviously, they've damaged the door lock, but then I noticed the key for the ignition fits the door lock. So normally if they break in, they'd damage the ignition barrel and drive it away, wouldn't they? But this is what was puzzling me. So like you say, they've gone into it, and then like you say, they've towed it away then, haven't they?
Oh, there's no ignition block off there.
Yeah.
I replaced it.
Oh, so you've replaced that.
Mechanic for Ford dealer.
Right, okay.
I built the lock up.
So it matched.
The original key.
Yeah. That explains that then. So when the car got stolen then, just go back to that, it had your snap-on toolbox in the back then,
Yeah.
so from then, what happened from there then?
It never went back on road.
Never went, so you recovered the vehicle, so you got the car
I
back?
recovered the vehicle.
Where did
Had
you
no
find
boot
it?
lid, no rear lights, no wheels, rocker cover had gone.
That explains the rocker cover then. Yeah,
All front lights had gone, obviously, total interior.
yeah,
Recovered it. I just never got round to putting it back
yeah,
together.
yeah. I bet you was gutted, weren't you?
Yeah,
I bet your tools weren't on the back seat either, they used them to take all the bits off, I suppose.
that's it. You know it.
I bet they were clapping their hands when they seen that then. But I bet you was absolutely gutted. But
Yeah. Well, I just never got round to putting it back together.
so when you obviously did you fit another set of wheels and stuff for it, or did you sell it?
I sourced another set of wheels and
Yeah.
the interior and boot lid. It didn't have a Cosworth boot spoiler on. It just had a standard Sierra boot lid just to seal it up.
Yeah.
I sourced the front bumper.
Is that why the front bumper's blue then?
Yes.
Yes. So you put that bumper on.
Yes.
Okay.
I put lights in it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of it now in front of me. When
Yeah.
I had it,
Yeah.
it had white indicators in front and black lights in back.
Right. So it had the 90 spec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got them lights, didn't
But
we?
when I got it back, I just put normal ones back.
Yeah. Just the orange ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's obviously cleared that up. So, did you put the cloth interior in, or because I think you mentioned about 11?
No, it was leather.
It's
White
got
leather.
yeah, it's got cloth in it now. So I don't know what's happened to
I
that.
know,
But
I've seen that.
but originally it would have had the cloth, or did it have leather from?
No, it had the grey cloth.
Yes. So originally it did have, because some of them did, the last run of them they did have them with leather. You could optional extra it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But no, that clears that up then. So. And then obviously, when you had it, did you have anything crash damage, or do you know if it had been crashed at all?
Yes. Yes.
So where was the crash?
I damaged the near side front wing
Right.
when it were replaced,
Yeah, so that explains that.
and it got run into while it were parked up outside work
Yeah.
on the offside rear quarter.
Right. Okay.
That wasn't replaced. That were repaired.
So it's just repair, like a smart repair on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So did you have the car sprayed at all, or was it ever resprayed? Yes. Because I was going to say this had a total respray.
Yeah.
So was that when you owned it then?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've done quite a bit to it then.
Somebody were a bit jealous, and they poured brake fluid over the roof.
Oh,
on it.
nice. That's. What did it have the rear window changed at all? Because obviously it's rotted along the top of the rear window, and obviously normally
No.
that can be from if the window's been smashed and obviously replaced.
No, I never did that.
No, so it's never had the rear window.
I never noticed on the pictures when I've looked at them.
Yeah.
Did it still have a roof aerial on it?
Yes, at the back, but the actual aerial bit's
Yeah.
missing. But the obviously the bit bolt is that for the car stereo. So a car
No,
phone. Sorry.
It had a car phone in before I bought it. The holes in the dash you found, they were already there.
Yeah.
There
No.
was still a mount for a car phone there.
Right, and you've took that off.
I took
So-
that off, yeah.
Were you the second owner then to own the car?
Yes.
So you were second owner. So do you know who the owner was before you, or did you not know at all?
No, I don't. No.
I would have thought with the mileage and the car phone, it would have been like a business.
It were a rep's car.
Rep's car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that clears the car phone up and the mileage then.
Yeah.
What was you going to say about the engine and the gearbox?
Yes, the engine and gearbox. Would you? Obviously, we've had it all running and we have had it up to temperature and stuff. Everything seems fine on the engine. Is there anything what you have like? Has it had any major engine work, or has it been playing up?
It could. I think it wanted third synchro, third gear synchro.
Right.
It were crunching to third.
We'll have to have a look at that. We have
Yeah,
drove it. We have drove it, haven't we, Dave? We did
Yeah.
drive it down the lane and stuff.
Yeah.
And it seemed to go all right, but the clutch was slipping. But I think that's due to the oil leak. But yeah, we'll get it back. We're going to do a bit of a refresh on it. But the head gasket seemed fine and everything when you had
Yeah,
it and stuff like that.
I did that. I did the head gasket and
What about the clutch? Did you do the clutch on it, or was that the original clutch?
several times.
Several times. Well, you know what I mean. It's a cosy.
Three panel one in.
Right.
I put a 3-panel racing clutch in.
And I wanted to drive you nuts.
Couldn't drive it around town.
Yeah. So, what did you do any modifications to the car, or has it been standard?
No. Standard.
So you just put a 3-paddle clutch in. You're probably going to do some bits to it.
Took it back out.
And you took it back out because it was driving you mental.
Yeah.
No, that's great, mate. Thanks for that. And if we need anything else, we'll send you an email and we'll keep in touch and we'll give you a call. So thanks for that. Anyway, it's big out. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Alright, cheers.
Ciao.
Bye.
There you
So,
go.
Yeah, a bit of information. Sounds like he's had a rough life. How have we ended up buying one that's had a rough life?
the bonus thing to it, because I thought, imagine you popped your screwdriver in that, and you, because obviously they did do the ignition valve, because obviously they thought the ECU was in it to try and start it. Obviously they couldn't get this car started, but if they did, that would have been ragged everywhere, wouldn't it? And used.
It's probably best he didn't because.
No, and that's what all they
he
thought.
probably
Well, we're going to take it anyway, and then they used his tools to strip his car, which is obviously that'd do it.
Imagine.
At least he got it back because it could have just been torched and burned out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because normally they used to do that because of fingerprints, didn't they?
Yeah. And back in them, they were a thing, but no one used. They just burn it out. So obviously, rocker cover was changed because it was nicked. And like he said, it was a completely standard car. The only thing he fitted was a paddle clutch, but removed it because it did his head in.
Well, that's cleared everything up.
Yeah,
hasn't it, pretty much?
he was second owner. So technically, last time that car went on the road,
It was 2000. No,
it was in 90s. But technically, the second owner was the last sort of person to drive that car properly on the road.
Yeah,
To
he was.
use
Yeah.
the car.
To use the car as a car. The other people kind of just bolted bits
He
on.
used it as a van by the sounds of it. Because he was using it for work.
Well,
He snap on toolbox
Well, not
on
being
the back
funny,
seat.
mate. Back then, how much that car was, I don't think he could afford a van.
Oh,
He
yeah.
probably spent all his money on, well, like we used to when we was younger. You spend it all on a car.
Yeah.
Even if you needed a van, you'd go, I'll just put it on the back seat. So,
Well, there you go then.
yeah.
Nice one.
How much else to say is there?
No, that's
nice
clear.
one.
I'm happy still, do you know what I mean? It's cleared it all up and it makes sense with all what we've found with the
And
car.
obviously the story I was kind of told
Yeah.
about it had been stolen
Yeah.
and bits had been stripped off it.
But you don't know if it's Chinese whispers. It gets down the line, and
Yeah.
before you know it, it's done a backflip
Yeah,
through a shop window. And,
that's right, Anna.
but no, it's cleared a lot of stuff up and I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Let's go and have a beer.
Yeah, I need a beer.
Get on your bike, Dave.
And yes, I'm going to pass you over to my colleague Richard.
That's the 9 in it, so that's just going to turn
Oh mate, yeah.
It should be okay.
Just bring
You
the
know,
seven.
if that goes beep 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 beep,
Yeah.
just grab it and lob it as far as you can down.
No, because I'll lit the window.
No, I mean go outside and lob it.
I'll lit the window and I'll smash the window and that'll work normal then.
Can you say, mate, I'm cut off by the...
I need some paper!
You're on it,
From
mate.
what?
News at 10. Hello and welcome to the cartoon.
Cartoon
The
Network.
Car Cartel News at 10. And this is
the
the debate, yeah.
right on my face.
And this is the debate about has our Cosworth done 16k or 116k? Over to you, Richard. Right. No. So should we start again, yeah? Is it filming?
Yeah.
Oh, let's start again.
No, you don't have to press it.
Alright, and so.
Do we not really small bit on this table? I feel
No,
like
shit, like, no.
Should have sat on the bench, shouldn't we?
We should have, like.
Should I just start it?
No.
You're going to start it.
Yeah, fine.
Action.
No, just what should I say, ladies and gentlemen?
Just say, look.
Right. Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to the Car Cartel News.
No, just say.
At 10. Tonight we are going to debate.
No, just say, from what we've been saying about the mileage and what
So,
we've been
right,
getting
no,
about the
I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to
Let
say.
me say it.
No.
Yeah.
You just look at me, man.
I'll say
If he's got to say stuff.